The long-awaited reunion that fans of the beloved early 2000s sitcom Reba have been dreaming about has finally happened, and it's bringing a huge wave of nostalgia across television screens. JoAnna Garcia Swisher has officially reunited with her former TV mom, Reba McEntire, in an episode of NBC's hit comedy Happy's Place, and the moment is every bit as heartwarming, hilarious, and emotional as longtime viewers hoped it would be. Nearly 2 decades after the original series ended, the chemistry between the two actresses proves that some television families truly never stop being family. For fans who spent years watching their on-screen relationship grow and evolve, this reunion feels less like a guest appearance and more like a long-overdue family gathering. For millions of viewers who grew up watching the sitcom Reba, the relationship between Reba McEntire and JoAnna Garcia Swisher was at the very center of the show's charm. When the series first premiered in October 2001, it introduced audiences to Reba Hart, a resilient single mother whose life is turned upside down when her husband leaves her for his dental hygienist. Despite the messy situation, the show quickly became known for its warmth, humor, and deeply relatable family dynamics. The premise was simple, but it resonated with audiences because it dealt with real-life situations that families face every day: divorce, parenting struggles, unexpected changes, and learning how to keep a family together even when everything seems to fall apart. One of the most memorable storylines involved Reba's teenage daughter Cheyenne, played by JoAnna Garcia Swisher, who unexpectedly becomes pregnant by her boyfriend Van during the show's very first season. It was a storyline that could have easily become controversial or overly dramatic, but instead it became one of the most heartfelt elements of the series. Cheyenne's journey from a somewhat naive high school cheerleader to a young mother navigating adulthood was handled with humor and sensitivity, and much of that growth happened because of the guidance and support she received from her mother. That storyline could have easily turned into something heavy or overly dramatic, but the writers of Reba approached it with humor, heart, and compassion. Cheyenne grew from a naive high school cheerleader into a young mother learning how to balance responsibility, education, and family life. Much of that journey was guided by Reba's character, who supported her daughter through every mistake, challenge, and life lesson. The emotional core of the show was always the bond between the two women, and audiences connected deeply with their relationship. It wasn't just about funny one-liners or sitcom situations, it was about watching a mother and daughter support each other through life's chaos. Throughout the series, viewers watched Cheyenne mature in ways that felt authentic and relatable. She struggled with school, marriage, motherhood, and personal identity, while Reba stood by her side with a mixture of tough love, encouragement, and unconditional support. Their relationship was often filled with humor, but it also carried real emotional weight. Many fans have said that the dynamic between Reba and Cheyenne reminded them of their own relationships with their parents or children, which is one of the reasons the show remained so beloved long after it ended. Over the course of 6 seasons and more than 120 episodes, Reba became one of the most popular family sitcoms of the early 2000s. Even after the show ended in 2007, its fanbase remained incredibly loyal. Reruns continued to attract viewers, streaming platforms introduced the show to a new generation, and the cast often spoke about how proud they were of the show's legacy. Fans frequently asked whether a reunion or revival might eventually happen, but for many years it remained only a wish. Part of the reason fans held on to hope was because the cast members never lost touch with each other. Over the years, they occasionally reunited for interviews, public appearances, and social media posts that showed they were still close. Every time those moments happened, fans immediately started asking the same question again: could a real on-screen reunion ever happen? Now, nearly 19 years after the final episode aired, that wish has finally come true in a surprising and delightful way. The reunion took place on Happy's Place, NBC's comedy series starring Reba McEntire as Bobby, a woman whose life takes an unexpected turn when she inherits half ownership of a bar in Knoxville, Tennessee. The premise of the show follows Bobby as she tries to manage the bar while navigating complicated family relationships and a quirky group of employees who quickly become her new extended family. The series blends workplace comedy with heartfelt storytelling, much like Reba once did, which is one of the reasons fans immediately felt drawn to it. From the beginning, the show already carried a little bit of Reba nostalgia. Melissa Peterman, who famously played the unforgettable Barbara Jan on the original sitcom, joined the cast of Happy's Place as well. Barbara Jan had been one of the most memorable characters on Reba, known for her bubbly personality, outrageous humor, and surprisingly heartfelt friendship with Reba's character, despite their complicated history. Seeing McEntire and Peterman working together again immediately brought back memories of their comedic chemistry from the earlier series. Fans instantly recognized the reunion between McEntire and Peterman and began speculating whether more former cast members might eventually appear. Social media quickly filled with comments from viewers hoping that JoAnna Garcia Swisher, Steve Hoey, or even Christopher Rich might show up at some point. That speculation finally paid off when JoAnna Garcia Swisher stepped into the world of Happy's Place for a special guest appearance. Her episode quickly became one of the most talked about moments of the season because it marked the first time in years that she and McEntire shared the screen again. In the episode, Garcia Swisher plays a character named Kenzie, a confident and slightly chaotic social media influencer who's hired to help promote the bar's business online. Her character arrives full of energy, enthusiasm, and big ideas about how to bring attention to the bar through viral marketing campaigns, live streams, and promotional videos. Kenzie believes that with the right strategy and a little creativity, the bar could become a local sensation. But the real magic happens when Kenzie meets Bobby. The moment the two characters begin interacting, the familiar chemistry between the actresses becomes immediately obvious. Their timing, their playful teasing, and their natural comfort with each other all echo the dynamic that made their original sitcom relationship so memorable. At one point early in the episode, Bobby studies Kenzie for a moment and jokingly comments that she looks like she could be her daughter. It's a simple line, but for longtime fans, it's a perfect little nod to their shared television history. The moment feels almost like an inside joke between the actresses and the audience who has followed them for so many years. The episode takes the humor even further when Kenzie suggests creating promotional videos where she impersonates Bobby to attract attention online. That idea leads to one of the funniest and most memorable scenes of the episode. JoAnna Garcia Swisher ends up dressing like McEntire's character and delivering an exaggerated but surprisingly accurate imitation of Bobby. The impression includes the voice, the gestures, and the slightly sarcastic tone that McEntire's character often uses. The result is both hilarious and strangely touching because it feels like a playful tribute to the years they spent working together. Behind the scenes, the reunion was reportedly just as emotional as it appeared on screen. According to the cast, filming the episode felt like a mini family reunion. The actresses spent time reminiscing about their experiences on the original show, sharing stories about the early days of their careers, and laughing about the countless moments they spent filming together during the 2000s. JoAnna Garcia Swisher later spoke openly about how meaningful the experience was for her. She explained that returning to work with McEntire and Peterman felt incredibly special because the three of them had formed such a strong bond during the original series. She described the reunion as something that felt almost effortless, saying that their chemistry came back instantly as if no time had passed at all. For Garcia Swisher, the moment carried even deeper meaning because of how much her life has changed since the original show ended. When she first joined Reba, she was a young actress just beginning her career in Hollywood. Over the years, she went on to appear in several popular series, including Privileged, Once Upon a Time, and the Netflix drama Sweet Magnolias. She also became a mother herself, raising 2 daughters with her husband, former baseball player Nick Swisher. During the filming of her reunion episode, Garcia Swisher actually brought her daughters to the set so they could see where part of her early career had taken place. She explained that being able to share that moment with them was incredibly emotional because it connected her past and present in a meaningful way. Seeing her children watch her interact with McEntire and Peterman reminded her of how important those early years of her career were and how much those relationships still mean to her. The cast also shared a lighthearted moment during filming when they decided to prank one of their former co-stars from the original sitcom. Steve Howey, who played Cheyenne's lovable but slightly clueless husband Van, had already appeared earlier in the season of Happy's Place. However, he wasn't present on the day Garcia Swisher filmed her episode. So McEntire, Garcia Swisher, and Peterman decided to call him during a break in filming just to tease him about missing the reunion. The prank quickly turned into a hilarious conversation full of jokes and memories from their time working together. Moments like that only reinforced how close the cast remains even after so many years. For fans, the reunion represents something larger than a simple guest appearance. It's a reminder of how powerful television nostalgia could be. Shows like Reba become part of people's lives during important moments, whether they watched them growing up, during college, or while raising their own families. When those characters return years later, it feels like reconnecting with old friends. Social media exploded with reactions after the episode aired. Fans posted clips, shared emotional comments, and celebrated the reunion as one of the most heartwarming television moments of the year. Many viewers said they immediately felt transported back to the early 2000s, when the original sitcom was part of their weekly routine. Some longtime fans even said the reunion made them hopeful that a larger revival of the original series could eventually happen. Although there has been no official announcement about a full reboot, the continued appearances of former cast members on Happy's Place have certainly kept the possibility alive. The show itself actually has an interesting history connected to the original sitcom. At one point, there were discussions about creating a full revival of Reba. While that specific project never moved forward, the creative team eventually developed Happy's Place as a new sitcom vehicle for McEntire. Rather than recreating the exact same characters and storylines, the new show allows McEntire to explore a fresh role while still celebrating the relationships and comedic style that fans loved in the original series. Because of that connection, Happy's Place has slowly become a gathering place for members of the old cast. Over time, several familiar faces have appeared on the show, including Christopher Rich, who played Reba's ex-husband Brock in the original sitcom. Each appearance has added another layer of nostalgia for viewers who followed the show for years. JoAnna Garcia Swisher's return might be one of the most emotional reunions yet, simply because her character Cheyenne represented such an important part of the original show's storyline. Watching the actress interact again with McEntire brings back memories of the countless scenes where the two characters navigated life together. It also highlights how much both actresses have grown in their careers and personal lives. Reba McEntire herself has often spoken about how grateful she is for the experience of making the original sitcom. The show helped introduce her to a new audience beyond her already massive country music fanbase. It also allowed her to explore her talent as a comedic actress, something she had not done extensively before the series. Over the years, McEntire has continued acting in television and film, but she has always remained closely connected to the cast of Reba. Their continued friendship is something that fans find incredibly heartwarming. In many ways, the reunion on Happy's Place is a perfect example of why audiences love stories about television families. When actors genuinely care about each other behind the scenes, that authenticity translates onto the screen. Viewers can feel it in the performances, the humor, and the emotional moments that make a show memorable. And judging by the reaction from fans, this reunion has delivered exactly that. The episode serves as a celebration of the past, while also showing that these performers still have plenty of stories left to tell together. It's a reminder that the bonds formed during beloved television shows can last far beyond the final episode. For longtime viewers, seeing Reba McEntire and JoAnna Garcia Swisher together again feels like opening a time capsule filled with laughter, family memories, and the comforting familiarity of characters who once felt like part of their own households. Whether this reunion leads to more appearances in the future remains to be seen, but one thing is certain. The love between the Reba cast members and their fans is still as strong as ever. And if this emotional and hilarious reunion proves anything, it's that sometimes the best television moments happen years after the cameras originally stopped rolling. Make sure to like, subscribe, and stay tuned for more celebrity updates just like this.